Welcome, JB. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So you're in Australia. How long are you here for?
I think I'm here for like 3 weeks. I just got here and went to Cable Nationals, Australian Nationals on the weekend. And yeah, it's pretty cool.
How was the event? It looked like there was a bunch of people there. Real fun.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a lot more like young kids in Australia, and they're all like hyping. I feel like at the cable parks in America, the age is a little bit older.
Yeah.
Maybe in like Florida and stuff, there's a bit of kids, but just all around in general, I feel like the age is a little bit older. So here it's really cool to see like so many young kids coming up through the sport, and I think the future is pretty bright here.
Awesome. Yeah, we've noticed that as well. A lot of young people getting into it, which is we love to see. Let's start, I guess, from the beginning. How did you get into wakeboarding? Where did it start?
So whenever I started wakeboarding, the very first time was maybe like 2003, I think. And my dad had a super old Sea Ray boat, maybe like a 1997 or something. And I tried it. I hated it. I really enjoyed kneeboarding at the time. And then like maybe a year later, I tried wakeboarding for the first time behind a buddy's boat. And he actually had like a wakeboard with boots on it rather than sandals. And I really enjoyed it that time. I got my first taste of getting air. And after that, I was kind of hooked, and it was super, super fun.
That's sick. And then, so from that, I guess, humble beginnings, when did you start taking it more seriously? Like, did you start doing comps early? Is there a time you remember the switch?
Yeah, no, I definitely remember whenever I first started taking it seriously. I think behind the boat at the time, my dad's Sea Ray, I learned how to do a tantrum, just a backflip on the water. And my dad entered me in a local Wake the Lake contest. That's what it was called. It was from a local boat dealership. I ended up getting sponsored at the very first event. There was a rep there that was selling O'Brien at the time, and he picked me up. And I guess at that point I was like, well, if I'm going to be sponsored, I should actually get good, So I took it more seriously from then on out, I guess.
Sweet. And then how long did you stick with boat riding before you took, I assume you do more cable now, you're back into boats, but when did the progression start into cables?
I think I thought cable was a pretty like silly thing all the way until maybe 2012 or 2013. The engine in my dad's boat blew up. So I basically, at that time, BSR Cable Park in Texas had just opened, and it was one of the first left foot forward cables in America, which I'm left foot forward. So I went there and tried it out and really enjoyed it. So started riding a bunch of cable then and got pretty into it.
Sweet. You obviously got picked up by Hyperlight. When did they start proposing that you might be able to start getting your own product or your own name on product?
I think it was a bit after that before Hyperlight, because I would have rode for Connolly between then.
Oh, wow.
So I think in 2014 or 2015 maybe, I got kicked off O'Brien just because I'm sort of a smart ass. And I just talked a lot of crap and ended up getting kicked off. Got picked up by Connolly, and then in 2018, Greg Nelson from Hyperlight made an offer, and I kind of couldn't refuse. It was a good offer. The brand was way cooler of a brand, and the image of Hyperlight was what I thought was cool. So there was no turning back from there.
Awesome. So I guess like for me personally, probably your videos. I heard about you first.
Yeah.
Probably obviously traveling over to Australia. That's where we started noticing you. What got you into videos? When did it start becoming like I want to document this, or I want to start videoing?
I'd say, whenever I was a kid in like high school, I would hang out with all these like the skateboarders and motocross kids and whatever, our little niche group in my high school. I had a giant school with tons of different like cliques or whatever. So we were kind of our own little crew, and we each did our own thing, but I would kind of film all my buddies and stuff on mini DV tape on just small dad cam, and we just kind of film each other doing cool stuff that we like to do. And I had like a video editing class in high school. So that's kind of where I was like, oh, well, let's make videos of me and my friends skating, wakeboarding, riding dirt bikes, or things like that. And I've just kind of been doing it ever since. And it sort of turned into a career kind of.
Awesome. So you remember the point where you said, actually, this YouTube thing is going to be how I can make my money or how I can support myself? Is there?
At first, I would maybe make, a few wakeboard videos throughout the year and try and promote them the best I could through my other social media channels
Yeah.
and just showcase my riding to everyone, and hopefully sponsors would pick me up and maybe think I'm talented or something. And then later down the road, I saw David OC.
Yeah.
He started a YouTube channel and he was putting out a ton of videos, and he went from nobody, and then by the end of that year, he would have gotten voted as Wakeboard Reader's Choice Rider of the Year in the US. He's from Ireland, but he went from nobody to somebody in a period of 1 year. And I was like, well, I kind of think this vlog thing is sort of kooky. And then, he won that. So I was like, well, let's start cranking out some videos. And then I think it was the next year or the year after that, I won the same award.
Oh, sick.
So I think that the YouTube thing is probably the most marketable sort of platform that you can have, and it worked out really well.
Yeah, I think it's awesome being able to watch you on video, especially what are you releasing a video every 2 days now?
Yeah, since over the last 3 years, a video every 2 days, and I haven't missed a day.
Wow, that's dedication. We try and do a video a week and we miss out on that all the time. So Well done.
I mean, sometimes I definitely, actually a lot of times I'll really rush to the video and it won't come out super quality, but I try and make sure there's a wakeboarding video there for everyone to watch as much as possible.
That's good. It keeps your followers interested. I know we have heaps of customers, heaps of kids coming up that love watching your stuff. They look forward to it every 2 days.
Yeah.
So hopefully you can keep it up for as long as possible. I know it must be draining, but it's awesome to see.
Yeah, I'm pretty pumped on it. Especially it's just like a TV show and they know it's always going to be there, and something to watch for everyone.
How do you go getting recognized almost constantly, I guess? Was it a bit of a change from kind of going to cable parks being, not that known, to now you walk around most cable parks and 50% of people would know who you were, say?
Yeah, well, it was crazy because before, maybe once a year or 2 times, maybe 3 times a year max, I'd try and put out the most banger video I could. And there were a couple videos I put out, one called Full Send and one called Still Gonna Send It. And these 2 videos went mega viral. And I thought that everybody knew me. I was like, yeah, I'm killing it. Everyone knows me. And maybe it would have just been like the industry only that knew me. And I felt very like a popular writer, I guess. And then soon I realized after pumping out all of these YouTube videos, there's a lot more people out there than just, the core industry. Just being at boat ramps and stuff like that, I'll put my boat in, people will come up and say, hey, or I'll go to a cable park in Germany or here in Australia, kids that I've never seen in my life or probably never looked at a wakeboard magazine in their life, they'll know who I am. And it's really cool to see that how far the wakeboarding videos have spread everywhere. So I don't know, it feels pretty special.
That's awesome. Well done. I guess this is your board. We probably should have introduced that.
Oh, yeah.
But were you stoked with being able to put your brand, your name on something that's physical?
Oh, yeah. I was very stoked because whenever I was riding for O'Brien and whenever I got cut, we were actually in the process of making my own pro model back then. Yeah. And I got kicked off the team. So my dreams were kind of crushed, I guess. And from then on out, I thought, there's no chance I'm never going to have this opportunity again. So I was just kind of wakeboarding, having fun. And I really thought there was no chance. And then one day, Greg, threw out the idea. I didn't believe him, I didn't believe him until the day I saw it in real life. But or until the day I saw the first prototype. So it was a pretty special feeling.
That's awesome. One thing I have to ask, because we get asked from kids all the time and parents, when's a JB ONeill ball going to come in a smaller size? Do we have plans?
I definitely ask Hyperlight all the time, and I can't tell you when.
Yeah.
I guess you guys would have to shoot them a DM or write some emails on their customer support page or something like that and help me out because I've been trying for a while and they won't seem to make it happen. So if you guys can show the demand, maybe we'll get one.
Let's get that out there, guys. Hit up the Hyperlight Instagram page with some DMs. Let's get some junior JB ONeill boards. We would love it. It would be sick. So let's do that. This year's your first boot?
2022 is the first boot,
yeah.
And then this one here is the 2023 version,
Sweet. So now you got a full setup. That must be nice to be able to almost fully clothed in you.
Yeah, so it's nice, especially riding a board that it suits me perfectly, and then riding the boot that suits me perfectly as well. It's very comfortable for myself on the water. So yeah, I love it.
Awesome. And then this year you've actually got an Australian approved jacket coming out. We're pretty excited. It's not in store yet, but it will be soon.
Yeah.
That must be nice having, I think jackets you can be a bit more creative with. I think you can do some different stuff.
Yeah, for sure. It was only in the US, but now I'm able to have it both in Jet Pilot USA and Jet Pilot Australia. So that's exciting to get the best more worldwide.
Awesome. Look out for that. That'll be in stores very soon. One question we get asked from kids a lot. If you were giving kids advice on how to get sponsored or what's the best way, is there something they should do, things they should avoid?
I mean, there would be a few different paths, I'd say. The hardest one, in my opinion, would be the contest route. Obviously, you're going to want to do contests, and if you win, obviously people will take notice that you are skilled. So that would be one way to get sponsored, but there are other routes, just being creative and different than all the other riders so that you stand out. And since everyone is trying to do the contest, you're in the mix with a ton of other people. But if you look at, I don't know, riders like Space Mob, they are doing the mega skinny stance, weird boards. They found their own niche, and that really made them stand out throughout the industry. Or someone like Graham, he's sort of sending bigger than everyone and just doing little deadly gaps. There's just, I'd say just be yourself and be different. Don't go copying everyone else's tricks, really. I mean, you can to help yourself learn, but if you take your own route and build your own style, I think people will notice that the most, just because you'll stand out because you're different.
And then you've been on riding boat a bit more lately. I've seen.
Yeah.
That must be pretty cool to get back into where you started.
Yeah, definitely. Behind the boat now, though, I definitely haven't even taken it seriously once since we've been out. We go out all the time. I don't think there's been one day that I've practiced. We go out with the friends, goof out on the boat, film videos, wake surf, foil, wakeboard, ride weird things, just have a good time every single time and film it. And it's so much fun. I used to kind of get really frustrated with my riding a lot behind the boat because I took it so seriously. And I think just having fun on the boat is the best thing ever. So that's kind of what we've been doing.
I think getting back to fun is always good.
Oh yeah.
Makes a big difference.
We've even tubed a couple times. So it's cool.
That's sick. I like that part of the boat life. One question I did have is cable parks. You've obviously been to hundreds around the world.
Yeah.
Is there a favorite? Do you have the one?
It's hard to say, kind of. I'd say like the best one right now would be 313 cable, but the weather is a bit too cold for me. So if you're in like a real warm climate all the time, 313 would be kind of cold, but the features are the best there. CWC is probably still maybe my favorite, just because the weather is always warm. The features aren't as good as 313 at CWC, but just the weather kind of makes me pick it over it a little bit. So if you don't mind wearing a wetsuit sometimes, 313 would be number one. But if you're trying to have some tropical climate and a good time, then CWC. So
you're nearly at 100,000 YouTube subscribers. That's a massive achievement.
Yeah.
Is it exciting? You get your own plaque soon?
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about that because I've never really won like many awards, and I feel like that's a pretty special one. So that'll be one I hang up on the wall for sure. Yeah, before we get there, I'd say whenever there's about 500 more to go, I'm probably going to do a giveaway of my board. So stay tuned for that, and it'll be on my Instagram. So we'll figure out how to give that one away.
Awesome. No, we're excited too. 100,000 is a big deal. You'd be close to the first wakeboarder. Or the first wakeboarder?
No, I would be the first wakeboarder, yeah.
Insane. Well, we'll be cheering you on. Do you have plans after wakeboarding? Is there a JB ONeill future? Do you want to...
Something I'd like to maybe do after wakeboarding? Maybe buy a cable park, maybe not. Cajun X in Louisiana is for sale right now. I doubt that I would buy it, but there is a possibility. Maybe just try and wakeboard as long as I can, pull a Sean Murray, and hang on to it for a while. But as soon as I become irrelevant, I'll probably hang it up and try and hand that budget to the next rider coming up, because I definitely don't want to be that old guy taking away budget from the companies. I think the up and comers should definitely have a shot. So yeah, we'll figure something out.
Sweet. Speaking of Sean Murray, did you have any idols growing up? Who's JB ONeill's favorite wakeboarder?
Whenever I grew up, I don't know if I knew who Sean Murray was. We didn't have any wakeboarding magazines, and we had dial-up internet as I was a kid. So there was local pros. Billy Garcia was the local pro on my lake, and there were there were a couple more. This deaf guy named Mitch Bergsma. He's insane on a wakeboard, and he does pretty much every mob switching regular and every 7 switching regular. So I kind of looked up to him as a kid, and just pretty much the whole local scene in Austin. That's kind of what I looked up to. It wasn't until later that I actually found out that there were other riders out there.
That's pretty cool, being a little insulated. You get to see, what's cool in your local.
Yeah, it's crazy too, because I thought I was ripping.
Yeah.
Because in Texas, it's a much smaller community than all of the United States, and I was kind of sort of one of the more top riders in Texas at the time. And then once I rode a WWA event and against some of the Florida kids, I got whooped. I got whooped hard, and I was like, it was a real reality check. So yeah, there's a lot more wakeboarders out there than you think.
Who are you following now? Do you have a favorite, or who do you like riding with? If you had to pick, you're going out in a boat, who's the ultimate boat crew or ultimate cable crew?
I think I like riding with Graham a lot, but like if I were to choose who my favorite to go out on the boat with and stuff, it would be non-pros, because if you go to Orlando and you ride with these guys and they're training every single day, there's so many of them banging out 900s, 1080s, and they land this all the time. And whenever someone lands a 10, they're like, oh yeah, sick, you know? But if I go out with the standard crew in Austin and someone does a back roll for the first time, the whole boat goes ballistic. It's like, oh my God, that was awesome. And the stoke is so much higher than whenever it's like not with pros.
Yeah, okay, yeah. I think the stoke's a big thing.
Yeah.
Having a boat full of people that love it and are interested in every ride is what you want when you're riding.
For sure.
Who's your favorite current rider? We've been through who you admire. Who's your favorite current?
I'd say, like right now, definitely Sean Murray. I don't know. He just does such a good job at promoting himself, and he's been around forever, and he's still so valuable to our sport and brings so many new people into the sport. I wouldn't say maybe his riding is my ultimate favorite. He definitely goes super big and looks cool on the water, but just like him as a person, I think he's a really cool guy, and yeah, he's made the best he could out of the sport. And
he's done well. He's probably our most requested board, the Murray.
Yeah.
So well done to him. How did you get your dog, Airbud?
So I stay at CWC in the Philippines, the wake park, and probably, I think I did 6 months 1 year, 8 months another year, then 3 months, and 4 months or something.
Oh, wow.
I did Philippines every winter for a really long time, and then the last winter I was there, there was a dog there. He would just hang out and like scrape up leftovers at the restaurant. And there happened to be I'd see him every day, you know, and there happened to be a typhoon coming. And I was like, oh, you know what? I'll take you to the bunker or shelter they put us in. And I brought him in the shelter. He hung out there. We were probably in there for like 36 hours or something, maybe longer, maybe 48. And he like held his pee and poop the whole time. And as soon as I let him outside, he did his business. I was like, all right. Took him to the vet, got his shots, and then made him an ESA, and he flew back to America in my lap for free for $100 for the ESA. So basically, it cost $100 to get him back home, and he's been hanging out, going on the boat every day since.
Oh, nice. What do you do when you're not wakeboarding? What's fun?
Yeah, my favorite thing to do is probably ride pit bikes, like small dirt bikes.
Oh, sick.
Me and my friends all have one. Graham has a little e-bike, and then my local crew, this dude named Mike, he has some pit bikes, and just everyone has them. And we built a little track over there, and we go and just rip them together, and it's a really good time. I think I might actually like it a little more than wakeboarding, just because it's like a new like thing.
Yeah,
you know, I have been doing it kind of forever, but not every single day. You know, so it's really cool to change things up.
Sweet, it's awesome.
I also like e-foiling. I can't afford it, but because they're like $13,000. But have you tried it?
I haven't tried it yet. We are trying to get one this summer to try. We might start looking at it.
It's insane. You definitely need to try it. It's like a magic carpet, and it's really, really quiet. If you're doing it with buddies, you can be cruising out on the lake. You can talk to each other because they're electric and silent. And yeah, it's just so smooth feeling. It's really cool.
We're going to have to get one and give it a go. I'll let you know. Have you had any other jobs except for wakeboarding?
When I was younger, I would clean pools. My dad owned a pool service company while I was growing up, so I cleaned a lot of pools, that's for sure. And well, I worked at Cable's Wake Park in 2013 for 8 months actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So yeah, I worked giving lessons on the 2 tower.
Yeah,
every day, probably 8 hours a day every day. Just knees bent, arms straight, stand up super slow, and forwards and backwards the whole day. Yeah, saved up as much money as I could, and then on the time off, I would ride in the cable, and that's when I actually really started riding cable. I rode a bit in Texas, and then came over here. Yeah, I could ride for free and make money at the same time. So
How good. Thank you, Cables Wake Park. That must be...
yeah, 100%. Thanks, Chris.
If you weren't wakeboarding, do you think you'd still be cleaning pools? Is that...
Yeah, for sure. Because my dad would have given me the option to take over the family pool company.
Yeah.
And just chose wakeboarding.
Well, we're definitely glad you chose wakeboarding.
Yeah, I'm stoked too. It was pretty rough at the beginning and really hard to get to this point, but yeah, it all worked out, and I couldn't be happier.
Awesome. Well, I've had an awesome chat. Thank you very much. You've been very accommodating.
Thanks to you guys for having me, and that's about it. Yeah, it's good.
Sweet. Peace out.
See ya.